It consists of thoughts alone, nothing else, you see. And this is why people have been stuck in their own nightmares, because, sorry, it's making you do puzzles again. I've got to move it. There we are. I think I've got it. Yeah, perfect. And this is what's happening. So the people are watching their own horror movies and not liking it, and listening to the mind. And of course, the mind, oh no, but it's just, as I say, it's working through. As it's ready to deal with more information and stuff, it's got to release, you see, because all the time that it was dreaming, it's like a thought. It's how do I explain it? It's a vortex of thoughts. I thought is the bottom, the center of it, and it's accumulated all of these, what you call your vortex energy, all around it. So now, as you start releasing it and the identities and things, it gets thinner and thinner and thinner, and you realize, whew, there was never anything or anyone there. It's held together by thoughts, and they form such a, yeah, because it attaches to everything, hangs on to the energies and thoughts. It's just charged energy, really. So really, if you let it all go back, it goes back to where, well, it can completely, yeah, that's another whole story. But if you, let's say, if you drop everything and don't ever again associate with anything as you, a thought, the body, or anything, and you just let it be and watch and not use the mind, like at all, it does start to completely vanish. It can, because source is no thing. Nothing. There was never before, then going back before creation. So everything can start disappearing, literally, if it goes down to like nothing. Like just nothingness. There's just absolutely nothing. Because then all the particles vanish as well, waves, and you're back to just waveform. But as I say, if the mind is not ready for it, if you push it too soon, it's big shock. It's quite scary. It is quite a shock to the system. Even when you start seeing through the illusion, when that happens, when everything falls away, like you can realize there's nobody here, that's a big shock, because you were attached to people. You believe they're real, and they, my friend or my husband, and this and that. And when you see there's nobody in anybody, and there's nothing here, nothing is real. People can say that, but when you actually see it, it is a big shock to the mind, because the mind is so believing it's a real thing. There's a real person that exists. It's a thought, literally. It's literally a thought. It really believes it's a real entity. There's a real entity that exists. There's a you. There's a real lady, whatever. Literally. You can say yes all you want, but you're in a big paradox. As I say, it's within the world, because now you are between two dimensions. You are in one, but let's say, but the body, the story, is existing in the illusion. Yeah. So the story goes on. It's complete opposite. Here, there's everything has purpose and a meaning and all this bullshit. In reality, nothing. Nothing. So this is what they call the paradox. Everything is an absolute paradox. It's like chalk and cheese. Everything here is completely opposite at that level of reality. It's like such a mind thing. Because here it's like they're real people and you've got to help them, and how can I just like, it's not real, so whatever, doesn't matter. At this level. That's what I'm saying. At that level, it's like, there's no people. What's the problem? That here, you interacting, you see, as I say, as Jesus said, I'm in the world but not of it. Or it is a complete paradox. Well, and it is taking, you go through all kinds of things. You're processing it, like this one. It took some processing, like, wow, You can't go around telling people, you do, but they don't take it well when you tell them they don't, there's no real people here and they don't exist. Because if they believe it, they take it for the offense. They get very personal. That's what I'm saying. Understand that it's like, this is why it's going at, so what you perceive in the story, you going at dimensions or density or levels. As you are ready for it or can handle that information, and then it will try. And then if it's too much, it takes a while for it kind of to integrate. For you, so yeah, the consciousness to be able to, okay, it can hold the truth, and then it will stabilize, and then it goes up. So it's slowly, it's like seeing where you are ready to shift, because everything is only consciousness and perception, you see. But it's such a paradox. I can't even begin to tell you. I mean, I made so many videos about that paradox. It was like, wow, mind. It was like a real mind thing. Like, you were so perplexed, like what to do now. Like how to, like, what's the point? So you go through all these turmoils. Like, what's the point? You know, you might as well go live in a cave because nothing's real. No one's real. Who cares? You know, so you can go swing. That's what I'm saying. In the game, the body is in duality. So you can swing from one polarity to another. You know, some go to the one extreme, others can go, but the whole idea is to try and stay in the balance. So you can go to a sort of a nihilistic sort of thing, or like, oh, well, what's the point? You know, it's like that's what some of the old gurus do. Just go sat in a cave and just not really interested in the world because like it's not real. And then you can go to the other extreme. Some do it's absolute just light, and it's like, you see. So it's just, yeah. Is to trying to find like that. It's like how to deal with it, how to deal with the polarity, with the wow, it's just, yeah, yes, yeah. It's something else. There's no you. That's the thing. When that one clocks, you'll drop it. You will not even believe there's a separate person. You will ignore whatever the thought tells you about you and me and mine and anything. But yeah, that's, yeah, anyway, it will, when it's meant to, it will start fading. And also that's the whole idea. You start losing interest. You start losing interest in identities. But then it wants to create a new one, the mind. Well, you see, you think it's a new self. A higher, you know, yeah. The old self. There's no, that's what I'm saying. There isn't any. There isn't any. It tries to create another identity. Any identity is an illusion. All of it. Yeah, it's energy. That's actually what is here. Nothing else. All are like that. All forms are actually in the truth like that. Transparent energy forms. They don't have matter. As long as you still believe it, and this is what creates it. So what you think is a spirit world thing is exactly what you will see in all around you. There you won't see anything. You'll see all like that. But that's also, then it can also fall away. That's before everything completely disappears. But that's another level. Everything looks like that, yeah. It's energy, forms, they believe it. This is exactly what you're doing. It just looks more solid because you believe you are. And you believe because they say this is the programming gunning, and everything is separate, it's a real world, there are real things, I am a thing. So then everything else appears as a thing. You see, if you believe there's a you, then there's other, and there's a world. So this is why your things and your so-called perceived world looks solid, as they call the Maya. Looks like matter. And this is why the paradox, people were like, well, there's no matter. Scientists are like, there's no matter. We can't find any matter. But if we still thinking it and seeing it, that we will still perceive it as matter, even though everything tells us there's no matter here. Why are we still perceiving it as matter? That's it. Because you are claiming it as consciousness, as a separate. I am separate, so there's a world, that's a tree, that's a thing. You are labeling it and claiming it as other. And what's doing that? Just thoughts, just a mind. Because you are believing what the mind says is you. It's real. It's true what the mind is saying, you see. But there are no things. Doesn't have form. Source has no form. But it takes on form. That's where the thing is. It takes on a form as directed. When you believe it, the mind says table, chair, daughter, this, that. That's what it does. A person, yeah. You see? And that's why they always say the only way you can really see through it, if you want to shift up out of this layer, is not listen to it whatsoever. Don't identify with the character in the movie, the bodies, or its stories, because it's replaying. It's like a code. It's replaying the same, whatever's not released in it, stories, lives, whatever. Depends how much is going to be released. Astrals, past lives, this, that, blah, blah, blah. It just keeps replaying, you see. Especially the I did this, they did that, blah, blah, he did that, but let's go there, blah, blah, blah. I feel like this. That's what I'm saying. A thought's not a body, but the thought, you see, is pretending it's got the body. I feel like this. It's a thought. It's not even the body talking. The body's got nothing to do. It's like, who the hell are you? Yes. This is what I'm saying. It's a collective. What you are tapping into at that level, when you're in this, is the Maya, is the collective stories, dreams, distortions, energies. When you're in this field of real, you are picking up. You are sitting in it, let's say, because that's that frequency and vibration you're in. This is how you're aware of all the collective distortions and stories and projections out there. Because they're all in the field, all that. This is why you can also communicate with anything and everything. You see? It's just energy. But this is what you are here to do, is to drop it all of it, and step out of the mind mechanism, the Maya, the story generator, the illusion, so you can transcend it. And you will not keep experiencing this world and duality. The most important thing, this duality. See? As long as there is, if you've claimed yourself to be, you have claimed separation. The minute you claim separation, automatically you claim one thing, the opposite is created. So you claim any story, it will create the exact opposite. If you create something good, it will create, like now, you see New Earth, and you've got all these bad versions of like the exact opposite. This and that, whatever. You see, it does that to form balance. So if you create anything, you say, I am a thing, he is a thing, the planet is a thing, separate thing, from where there is no. It creates, and then you say the world's perfect, oh, it's doomed. It's whatever, it's that. There's peace, there's all. That's what it does. Yeah, there we are. You'll see under the microscope, the atoms, there's a dark and light. When they bond together, poof, because now you've created, and it does it. It forms, it joins. From form, it becomes particle, matter. That's how it makes a story. Or there's just energy waves, which science are aware. You see? The mechanism of mind creates matter, particle. Because when you say, you look at something or imagine it, right? You're creating like a new earth or a flower or this. Then you are naming it. It solidifies into that frequency and vibration. Because like now you've imagined that form, right? So it's going to take on a shape and vibrate at that form. So energy now, here's something I'll try to explain to people. If you go and look at what science tells you, right? Your body, your so-called cells are made up of the same thing as the billions of planets and stars. There's no difference because there really literally isn't. There's never been any separate. It's imagined, completely imagined. So when you have said, I'm a thing. So source, now all those particles, have now solidified, yin and yangs, to create a form of a body. Literally. Particles. That's it. It's taken a shape. Everything takes on shape. And when you get to that level of source, you are at that level where it's instantly creating. You actually experience it. As they say, there's nothing. I've shared a few people that are already explaining this, and people just can't grasp it. They're like, well, what are you talking about? There's no thing, no one here. There's just what is. And is no separate thing. It's appearing, because that's what it is. It's a field of energy, has no form. And literally, it's just shaping and like this, and moving and forming. Because as I say, it takes a while before it dies down. It has that momentum. So it's slowly going, because it's been going for quite a while. So it still takes on, as I say, you're in this form of people and cars, and it's still, there we are. No, we're not anything. There's no we. This is the thing, you see. There's energy, which is conscious, and that is source. If you want to call it energy, we don't know what to say. This is a name again, because no one knows. A name, energy, is made up as well. Who defined energy? It's aware. That's it. It creates energy. Yeah. No thing. Yeah. That's what you got to grasp. Nothing here. There's nothing. No one and no thing. Everything is consciousness in form. So if you can try and grasp and try and program the mind, because that'll really assist you, that everything I perceive, no matter what the mind's telling me, no, there's no thing. That's source. That's the self. That's the self. So stop it, allowing it to say, that's them, that's me. No, that's the self. There's no thing. No one, no, It's all the exact same energy. It's vibrating differently because someone is saying, it's me. So, of course, depending on whatever that energy is forming and buzzing around, they have all these different stories, they're hanging, whatever energies they're attached to. That's all that they are. So this is why it appears as different frequencies and vibrations, because you're saying they're different things. So they're vibrating at that form, at that shape. You see, it's energy densified, or forming at that shape. Yes. Well, we say it's energy. Nobody knows. That's what I'm saying. It's a human definition, a word. It just is. Who knows? Energy is also a man-made word. It's a name. We name everything. That's what I'm saying. The mind loves has to enable everything. That's what it does. Yeah, it just labels everything. Well, as I say, it depends on the level. When just before it all disappears, you perceive everything as you would, like, I suppose, energy forms, like a ghost. If you would say ghost, transparent, holographic. That's what you perceive everything as, that. You perceive it as, and there's no sound. The sound and frequency changes, energy, everything shifts. You shift completely, because obviously you're shifting into a different energy level. So then everything is perceived as the self. Wow, yeah, it's just wow. Because you're not listening to the mind. The mind's quiet, and everything is you, and you're in this absolute blissful state, and everything is just, so there's some saying, why would you fear anything when you know there's nothing's real? So what you would be, you see, it shifts everything. You shift everything. That's what I'm saying. You can't imagine the shift that's going to happen here on this planet when it gets to a certain level. Because there's no fear. How can there be fear? What you got to fear? When you realize everything is me, you don't fear yourself. And I'm the one who's creating it. and you see that nothing is real, nothing is solid, everything looks like transparent, like a ghost forms, right? Yeah, that's where that paradox comes in. But then if you go past that level as well, as you say, you're not as still identifying, you're identifying, staying as reality, as no thing, no form, no whatever, and you're not taking any claim, action, identification with whatever the body does. You don't claim it as, literally, you don't experience yourself even in the body. You see the body at that stage, you see it as though you in the horizon and the body's down there, and you are not, the body's just doing its thing, and you are here, but the body is like inside your reality, like the world. That's one level. But then past that, when you go, like some of these people I've shared on my page, you drop, which is, it's quite another story. When you stay with that, what happens is reality starts to dissolve. What you call reality. This level starts to dissolve. No astral projection, no. This is not astral projection. You are conscious. Everyday life. This is everyday, not sleeping, not meditating. This is what you experience like as normal. Not an out of life. It's not an astral. That's a beginning level. That's what you got to face. That's all your other stuff. It's almost like your subconscious. That's what's held by the consciousness that you're unaware of. But then, as some of them will tell you, when you push through that, what happens is that starts to dissolve. So then you start, when you're ready to let go of the body and the comfort of solid things and things, whatever, everything starts to, let's say, lose its form. So like the table and bed around you, you become like morph, like it's like, how can I explain this? It's like watching reality, like watching matter dissolve, right? Because now if you ready to move to that stage, what stuff does is start losing form, because that's the truth. You're going back to source if you're ready to face that. The mind is prepared for that. Everything starts morphing. As now you can see everything's not real and yeah, you've been watching that. And then this was, as I say, this mind wasn't ready for it yet. It got such a fright. Wow. So everything starts, it starts to show it a little bit to see if you're ready. So you can, like, let's give you an example. I was sitting on the bed, and everything, like, you're so relaxed because you're so happy. You realize nothing's true and nothing's real, and you are source and so there's nothing to worry about. And then the body and everything started to, everything starts becoming one. You see, it goes back into wave almost. So the bed and the body and everything is no separate. It all started like becoming one, becoming part of the field, losing its separate shapes. So even those holographic separate forms you see starts to dissolve. And it becomes one, it's almost like, that's what they tell you, it's one field, energy, but not as form, no form. It forms as it's going, like completely, like as they tell you. So that's why people just can't grasp it. They think they're loony, or they're, whatever. They tell you there is no you don't exist, there's nothing, no thing. And people are like, yeah, what they call radical non-duality. Yes, I've seen it. It was quite another story. So a few times this started happening, because it's showing you the truth. But the mind here, this is about a few years ago, it pushed the envelope, but it wasn't ready. You see, it hadn't cognized or understood everything quite yet. Yeah, well, no, that's what I'm saying. That disappears too. Yeah, it's so, oh, well. There's no, as I'm saying, that disappears. This is, the observer disappears. So this is what I say. The body vanishes. At a certain level, the body, because now you're not frightened anymore. There's no body that needs to be. You see, people think they have to have experienced a body to have an experience. That's illusionary. The body dissolves. all forms dissolve. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's a mind bender. I mean, in the beginning, it's like, wow, like it's like trippy, and you think this is all right. But then when you realize, that's what I'm saying, the mind has to be prepared for it. When you are conscious, this is not like a one-off or meditation experience or anything. No, this is you realize this is no going back. And then you see it starts, literally, the energy all becomes one. The field starts morphing into one thing. There's no separate bodies, those separate light forms and everything start merging. And so it becomes wave again, literally. Then everything goes. As they tell you, nobody. You will understand the body and everything will vanish. There will no be observer in the thing and the observed. It becomes no lucid dreaming. This is that level. You become all that is. And all of a sudden, like this energy shoots up. It's like a burst of light. I suppose like you see when you die. It's the same thing, people. That bright light. If you go through that light, everything is dissolved. You're back in source. There's no coming back. It's over. Literally over. And this is what was realized here. So this is all happening, and the knowing, because now you know, that's it. You realize, and the mind got a big fright here, because it realized what was happening. It's bye-bye, like bye-bye. There's no coming back. It was going to disappear completely. Which means the I, everything was going to completely vanish. Like nothing. And as they tell you, there's all that is this. And literally, I understand what they're saying now because you've experienced it. Literally, when they say there's just energy like that, literally there's a field of formless wave of energy, and it appears as like instantly as like a table. It forms as a table, as the room, as the wall. It forms like that. Poof, poof. There's no world. So you experience reality literally forming as it is. It's creating like there. There's no world. There's nothing. It's literally creating it as it's going. That's the level. That is the level that most people think you want to get to. But as I say, the mind has to be prepared for it. And this body was okay, but as I say, it wasn't ready for that because it didn't know. You don't know. You have no clue. That's what I'm saying, what you really are. No, the mind cannot comprehend it. And we got an idea of that. So the mind was okay. It still had a big wobbly, and it took a while to try and I shared lots of videos about like the paradoxes. Most of them I see Facebook has deleted them all because I did them all on Facebook at that time. But about the paradox of first of all, when I got to the holographic stage and you were seeing nothing's real, there's nothing solid here, I had no, it was quite a paradox. And as you say, what's the point? There's why are you doing this? I mean, there's no real people, there's nothing. That was still okay. But when you see that there's literally formless reality, wave, no form, that was, as I say, it's a huge adjustment for the mind, and also its frequency and vibration, so it slowly prepares. So now you can get so it's kind of, so you understand, or just it'll terrify it. You see, the body just when there's such a belief in the body and the real, it scares the living shit out of you. So that the body had some working and energies and some after effects to deal with. Wow. It can fry the circuit when it's not ready for that frequency and vibration. So it did some, did the body have some reactions? Wow. If you try and force it, it really, fun was had for a while after that. Wow. Did not respond well. You understand? Because this consciousness is just, you see. Anyway. There we are. So this is what we've got all these different levels at the same time happening. As we're going through the shift, people are literally changing, you're shifting all the time. So we've got all these experiences going on at all these levels and in the collective story. So the collective projection is getting quite extreme, because you've got all these different polarities. It's like the end of polarity, like being projected from the worst to the nicest, to the, like, wow, as I say, it's duality at its extreme. The ego in its, or the distortion in the field, is like, to all of it's being out there, you know, from, as you look at it, you see the extreme. You've got the most extreme wealth you've ever seen on the planet, to poverty. So I'm saying about the extremes, you see, good and bad duality, this is what it's doing. So it's, you've got those that are like living in trillionaires land, la-di-la-di-la. I mean, it's just, and you've got those that are just so unconscious. Wow, it's sad. You see some of the, you know, they're running around totally like obsessed with things, in the, yeah, objects and, well, I mean, on things and money and whatever, you know, all kinds of, I mean, well, all levels. And then the early stage of waking up, you experience it, you wake up to the darkness, which is you in the beginning bring in light, you're fighting the darkness. But what you don't realize down the line, when you're ready, you're going to face that, because it's yours, you've created it. You are source. You have claimed something to be dark or other than yourself. And that's what you need to realize, is that you've got to reclaim everything. Everything wants to be re-seen. You see, it all wants to go back to source. Everything, that you've called bad, dark, that thing, that entity, that everything, is all source. Nothing. Do not claim anything as anything separate. There's no separation. That's mind. Everything has to be re-seen and re-known once to, you see. That's what this journey is about, is to, so whatever that consciousness has created in its story, it's going to come around to, you see. Even our belief of the divine, wow, there's another one, that's another one you've got to overcome, as this good and bad, as this, yeah, daddy figure, you know, that's, there is no light and dark. It is all of it. Because as I'm saying, it's only energy that's forming. Whatever you say it is, claim it, believe it, that's what form it takes on. It has no preference, it has no bias. It's not good, it's not bad, it's not a thing, it's not a... You see, that's in the story. That is the duality. And there's no judgment. Because if there's judgment, that means there's got to be separation. Again, you are saying, you see, it's wow. Anyway, so we are seeing this extremes playing on out there. That's all that you've got to understand. And you've got to understand the bodies that are there, that can't handle it, that are not ready to face their shadow or their projections or their fears, are going to get more unstable, or more frightened, or more anything that they've tried to suppress as well. Their habits, their patterns and behaviors, anything they don't want to look at, are denying. It's really gonna, it's just ramping it up to try and make them face their habits, their patterns, their behavior. So what it will do is gonna, like, as I'm saying, it's going to extremes. Some people are becoming, you know, look how materialistic, extremely materialistic. Like, how much do you want to say you can just, you know, how tired can you be of things, of money? No, let's, okay, give you as much and say, you know what I mean? You see, or whatever, what you look like, or obsessed with your looks, or whatever it is. It's attachments, because you believe in you're something. So it really... The ego, depending on, as I say, each thing. This is why the behavior out there is like, wow, is like, it's just bizarre. There's everything you can imagine. The ego is, as I say, the mind is just like, duality in, wow, to various degrees, like really, it's so out there, it's just, woo. But if you understand that, and don't, you say, you can't, If you see them as real people, and then you just see, okay, wow, okay, well, that's, people aren't even realizing what they're expressing is their stories. They've still brought in, or past lives they haven't resolved, or past fears, or past whatever. That's all that's coming out as codes. And I'll just keep going until they, let it go, or, drop the program, or, as I say, get out of the Maya, drop the lot, exit the Maya, problem solved. It'll just keep creating another story, as I say, another identity, a new self, a past self, this self, a child, an inner child, an ancestor, whatever. There's no time. There is already a giveaway. So there's no time. At that level, you'll realize nothing ever happened. There is nobody, no thing, no meaning, no nothing. Absolutely nothing. None of this ever. It was complete not happening. It's such a paradox. Wow. So there we are, people. Please don't go out there and you're not understanding and go and think, you can't change the projection. People are trying to change the movie instead of change the script. If you do not like what you are seeing out there, you have to change the script. Why am I seeing these? Because obviously you're resonating with it, and and whatever, some of these stories. What have you got your hooks in, your beliefs in, your stories you're identified with? Obviously people in the world and get whatever, all of it still. So as you let go of it, it loses its grip on you. That's all it is. But going out there and thinking you can change the movie, you got to put a new movie in the projector to see a new film. But if you want to go and fight those people, understand who's creating those people. You have adopted stories that there's bad governments and corruption because you've been told that and sold that by other people's fears and projections and whatever. We've got to be scared of this and worried about that. And there's no separation already. How can anything harm you? If everything already is you, you are already not separate from anything that you perceive. Anything. Nothing can harm you. But if you believe that, that's what I'm saying. It's another story, you see. So then you can create a energy war, this war, a frequency war, a bad things, a light, dark fight. All of those, you can have those experiences. But you can fight the dark all you want. But eventually, you have to face that and re-see it. It will vanish the minute you see it. You see, the minute you stop claiming anything as good or bad, there we are. You can't experience it as that. You see, there's no that. So the minute you stop, as I say, claiming any separation, anything you, that's it. There we are. So that's all we're saying now is time is coming to an end. End of times means end of not times. It actually means time. So all of these things are being... And remember, even you guys that are on this path consciously, you do this, if you want to say releasing and shadow work, releasing all your density, right? That you're doing consciously. Those that aren't, you see, if you like it or not, it's shaking out of you. So these programs are being, whatever they've suppressed, it's going to be released if you like it or not. So they're going to express their anger, their fear, their whatever dislike. That's it. It just needs to be released. So if you don't take it as personally and you don't get offended or just, have compassion and understanding and understand, that's all it is. Love and compassion. Have compassion. You see, for those that are in fear and anger and frustration because they don't understand. And the more they don't understand, the more of course you're going to be frightened if you don't realize I am the one the movie is coming from. You see, I'm going to try and run away from it, create it, change the movie, protest, try and, block the screen, What you don't realize is, well, then the image, the mind will just create another body and you will go through the same movie again in another body. That's it. It'll just keep going around. It's sad, yeah. There's nothing. Literally. The only thing that the creator of Maya is the thoughts generator, which are pulses, it's codes, it's pulses. If you watch it, it transmits in the mind, I think from the heart, whatever, the mind picks it up, that signal, and translates it into thoughts. You don't see a thought as in a word. A thought doesn't appear in your mind like a spelling book. You don't see A, B, Jane spelt out in your mind, literally. When you look at, pay attention to your thoughts. Do they appear in your mind like you see on a book, Jane? No. They're just there. It's translated, it's waves, pulses, energy. There's no real substance to them. There's no real thing. There's no actual form to them. Pictures appear in your mind that you've given energy to, snapshots, because you believed it. So that's what appears like as images, thoughts past. It does that. The mind will appear. It's a story. It will replay those, but thoughts themselves, there's nothing to them. Literally go into them like you would do. Take your consciousness, if you're doing an astronoming, and go right through the thought into that. You can see there's no substance, there's nothing. It's just transparent. There's just nothing there, actually. There's no substance to a thought. It's not solid, it's nothing. It's a broadcaster. It's a program that just keeps repeating. You got to stop listening to that broadcast. See, understand it's being transmitted. It's like a code, as they say. It's a structure, because you believed in. And the mind keeps translating it. That's all it is. It translates it in, and that's what you're hearing. Oh, na, 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 na. And you just got to know that it's telling you bullshit. Never was a separate one. You are source itself. You are the source of everything. It comes from you. But that's what I'm saying. You understand? That's what's held in that consciousness. Projection. As soon as you have any, you've missed the whole thing. If you claim any separation, you immediately the opposite form. It forms good and bad. It does that immediately. Any duality, the minute you create a separate story, as it shows in the atoms, you see they bond together as light and dark, because the source is all about balance. So if you create light, there must be a dark. You're going to experience it. Circles around to experience one or the other. That's what it does. So the more light you create, the more density it will create too. The opposite. And this is this is exactly what you are seeing projected out there. It's like hint, hint. You see, you're creating one timeline, one story. It's going to create exactly the opposite timeline and story. That's what it does. Just it's a mechanism. Yeah, if you identify with any thought, not belief, thoughts, literally. Because anything they say is just, it's illusion. It's everything is created from nothing. There's no Christians and no Muslims. There's no people. There we are, see. All taught, all human programs and taught. Oh. Yeah. It's thoughts, not beliefs, thought. Taken as real, because the thought's already creating you. Where do you come from? It's a thought. I did this, I did that, my kids, No. You're really believing you're a person, problem. Opposite thoughts will arise. No, you won't experience that if you don't believe that. But you will experience people that aren't. You see, because if you're saying I'm a good person, you're going to experience people that aren't. That you understand. That's because you've already said this is what I'm saying about. Look, if you go to my page, you'll see where I explained it. You claim something. Nature the mechanism automatically creates the opposite. So if there's a good, there'll be a bad. If there's a right, there will be a wrong. If there's a light, there'll be a dark. You see, and same to the extreme. If you create this story, it's going to create another one. That's what it just does that. So if you stop creating them, then you don't have any of those problems. That's what they say. Then you experience yourself as source. There is no good and bad. Everything is you, and you experience nirvana, heaven on earth. This is what I'll say. You experience the reality everyone's trying to get back to. That's it. Everything is you. That's the only way you get back there, is by seeing nothing as other than source. There is nothing else than source. Everything is source. Finished. That's the only way out. No other, no thing. Only source exists. Only source exists, no matter what the mind says. That is it. There's no other. They say there's no duality other than source. That's it. No, you don't think. That's what I'm trying to say. If you pay attention, you do not have any thoughts. Thoughts appear in nothing. And thoughts are at different frequencies. They appear. There's no you thinking. Do you think I'm thinking what's coming out of here? Not a chance. There's no cognitive process, planning, as talk, anything. It's not even a then you would have everything thinking about, it just comes. Same with the thoughts. It just comes. No one thinking, no one planning, there's no speech prepared. It just, if you really pet it, there's never been a thinker. Very few times you'll sit when it comes up with it, and then you're like, okay, you agree with the thought, and you'll go with it. Thoughts just come up. Otherwise, you wouldn't have any so-called not-so-pleasant thoughts. They come up, you see. That's it. It'll try a little one here and there, whatever, That's what I'm saying. It's just nobody. Because if it believes you're listening to it, there is somebody, it's going to keep playing a story. Because you're saying, you see, there's a person here. So the mechanism is going to keep creating stories. Watch your thoughts. Then you know it's nonsense. If there's only source, thoughts are the only thing that say him, them, my sister, they did, the government, blah, blah, blah. There's no government, there's no planet, there's nothing. Anyway, there we are. There we are. It's creating all of that. Yes, there's no polarity at the highest. There's no duality at all. As the gurus tell you, and that's why they're so happy. But if you want to play duality, you're going to experience both. Yeah, it's a dream. Yeah, absolutely. It's completely. Yeah, from the source. It's just that you as source is now so identified and so here in the mind that it's so tightly wound. This is why you don't see it. And I'm saying the only way you start seeing through it is by literally like completely ignoring the thoughts. It'll start fading and fading and fading and fading and fading. And then you can watch the movie. It just goes by itself. The body does everything by itself. Everything just goes on by itself. Yeah. And you'll be like, wow. You can enjoy it because you're not going to want anything. Because what is there to want? There's nothing. That's I tell you, there's no thing. And when you're at that, as I say, when you want nothing, then everything is there, you see. It's like polarity, as I said, the polarities. When you believe something is like real, of course you want it. But it comes, as I say, you got to understand there's extreme. Anyway, there we are. It always comes back to balance. So, yes, fine, you can go on with your height of your wealth and everything and experience that, but eventually, this is how it works. Duality, it balances. So you can experience incredible wealth, but understand when that wheel turns, You see, that's how it works. You got to so it wants to experience. You have to experience both sides. So then it's going to flip around, whether it's 1 year, 100 years, 1,000 years, to extreme poverty. So the higher you go in one direction, understand the exact equal momentum will go into the other direction. You see, I talked about that in my last live, and I said, when you realize that, then you think, oh, like the gurus say, don't choose, just allow it to go. That's why they say don't attach. Don't say that's better, that's good, that's not, that's better. Because then, if you chase after what's good, you're going to, yes, you can, like they say, 1,000 years of peace, 1,000 years of war, whatever, you see. But if you just if you don't take any sides and you stay as the self, and you don't claim anything as separate or other or good or bad or whatever happens, whatever arises, that's it. Then you stay here. But when anyway, but that's, you can see the mechanism now, if you notice, is seeking balance, because there's been great density. So all the stories, if you notice, all the minds, when you wake up, are all seeing the earth, all saying the same thing. You can see it's generated, there's no one person, because all light workers are seeing the same thing, guided to manifest the same thing. So it's creating a whole paradigm, a different paradigm, the opposite to what it came from. Because when they fell density, now it's going up in dimension. So it's creating this, like, where it came from, this separation and it's now creating like a unity and all that kind of thing. The story we're talking about. Yes. Yeah. If all of them. But that's what I'm saying. You've had both and been all whatever. I bet you have. I mean, that's so. This is what most don't realize they've experienced. Ooh, you've done it all and experienced it all. You've been kings. You've been king, queen, royalty. This rulers, woman, female. I mean, what you haven't. This is what it does in the story. Wow, some real crazy stuff. Yeah, exactly. And then that's why, you see, if you've done them all, you don't have that thing. You don't have any issue with that. You stay, like, money doesn't bother you, poverty doesn't, you don't see anything as separate. You don't judge wealth, you don't judge poor people. You are comfortable in all company and with all. That's when you found the balance. When you're not, like, have any draw or hassle with any of them, you see. Because you've experienced it all and you've obviously balanced it all. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know. It's quite something else, isn't it? You don't, like, you just, you don't see them as better than you or lower than you. You're comfortable sitting with the king and with a person on the floor. I've done them all. It's been amazing. Especially in this life, this so-called life. So I said it's imagined past. It's a complete created story. There's no past. You never had a past because you never had a body. Nothing. Anyway, never mind. But yes, I always felt very comfortable sitting in the embassy or sitting on the floor, and especially in Africa. I love it. I love it. People are amazing. There is a good demonstration of polarity, because there you have great cruelty and such kindness, the most generous, loving people in the world, but yet they can be the most brutal, violent as well. And the happiest, they're the most generous, happiest people ever. I mean, you've got these little kids running down the road in absolute poverty, living in like semi-desert with their little stick and this like toy, what was it? I can't even remember. I mean, it's just completely oblivious, but happy. That's what I'm saying. You've got kids. This is what I used to find so bizarre. And then you come back to the West and you've got kids running around. Yes, that's what I say. It's all here. Exactly, it's consciousness. A kid is completely unaware of poverty or wealth. They have no comprehension of it because they're not in that consciousness yet. They haven't got that, especially when they're young. They're not as identified with the form yet. Yeah. It's amazing. And then you got kids in their private schools and had so many toys they'd be bored. It's too much to play with. They were inside most of the time and they actually were bored. Well, you kids have nothing. But you know what creates it? As little kids, imagination. They're playing in the trees and they're playing in the sand and they're playing in it's imagination. They're creating it. They're completely. You've never seen happier kids. It was very bizarre going between both worlds. Very bizarre. And then your kids are all in private schools and they're like, and everything. They have no clue. It's like they're living. It's like they're living in a hotel, almost compared to those. It's like wow. It's just. As I say, that's a good. The polarities are most in those countries are most prominent, because you've got such density as well there, so you really see wow. But I suppose when you've done the circuit in the story enough, and you found that balance, you are at ease with a prince and a pauper. You know. And you don't see them as different, and you don't. One is better, and you're not starstruck or influenced. How can I put it? Yeah. You've obviously been around enough. Yes, I know. So even back then, you have sort of recognition of other lives, and you're like, yeah, right. Maybe we don't really go back down that one. Yes, all illusion, exactly. All imagined stories, imagined past, imagined. But that's what I'm saying, to make a context. The mind makes up past and this. Otherwise, there's no context. You wouldn't. It's all created. It's all fabricated. Not even a world here. I have no idea, darling. You can imagine whatever. If you believe you are and you focus on it and you really want that, then you probably will. Whether it's going to be good for you or not, you will find out. Go within and ask. You have that ability. You are that. You don't need to ask anybody else. You need to be quiet and learn to meditate, and you can do it all for yourself. Yes, but we grew up. That's what I'm saying. In the programs, you see, we grew up. And kids were influenced because, they wanted this designer clothes because everybody was wearing that. And everyone bought their kids a car. So you have to give them, and we have to have insurance. It's all bullshit. This is what I'm saying. Every single thing that we perceive has been programmed. This is why it's all being released. So it can be completely redreamed. Insurance and this and that, all from a lower conscious, all already claimed and renamed. And this is why nothing changed, because you inherited it. It's like, you do this and you're going to do that, and you have to have insurance, and we have to have that, and money, and a government, and whatever. It's all imagined stuff. Exactly. You could do as the Joneses. Yeah. Yeah, it's just the whole thing, and the whole. When you start losing interest in any of it, as I say, in the identity, in labels, in even the story and anything out there, the better. It's so lovely. You just like have no interest, because it's just noise. Actually, you realize it becomes just noise. It's and that's what's really the as I say, the ego, the mind is really just going to town. Going to town in a big way. Yeah, it is different. Yeah, but it is. But that's what I'm saying. This is at the distortion field, the hive consciousness. This is the collective distortion. It's a dream. People, the world, that's exactly. That's the level. When you're in the Maya, you're in the Maya. And the more you wake up, the more you disidentify with the collective consciousness. This is why you're not drawn by it in the news. You start slowly. That's part. Then you're waking up. The more and more. The identities, the stories, the narratives, the everything. Exactly. Yes. Yes, isn't it lovely? I know. You look back and it's You can see it so much. It's just that's what I'm saying. You can't even relate to it anymore. You see the distortion, you see the dysfunction in everything. Just you see the programming in everything, in all the bodies, and that's why you also can't judge them. You understand that body is running a program. This body had massive programs and distortions and shadows. I mean, when it woke up, it had a lot of things to face, and some serious shadows to face. And of course, it believed in the, especially coming from the